This is the first of several videos going through the steps of Professor King's Typography 1 course, Project 5. I'm going to break it up into several videos just to make it easier for you to find what you need to find. So I'm going to go through the Part 1 directions now. The first thing you need to do is open up InDesign. For this video, I'm working in InDesign CC, as you can see. Some things may appear a little bit different than they appear in InDesign CS6, but everything essentially works the same. So we want to create a new document. We want to turn off facing pages. We want our orientation to be portrait or tall. Our paper size, our page size to be US letter. We'll leave this as one column. We're going to create our grid as master page guides. And we want margins to be 5 picas on the top, left, and right. And then remember, you have to unclick this chain icon to unconstrain and make your bottom margin 6.5 picas. You hit OK, and you will get a document that looks like this. Sorry, I didn't have everything fitting to my screen there. Alright, you will have a document that fits, that looks like this. I am going to very first thing I do is save it. Remember, you always save early, save often. So, this is Type 1, Project 5, your last name and first initial. You want to open your Pages palette. If you don't have it in a sidebar here, you can always go up here, Window, Pages, to toggle show or hiding it. You want your Pages palette, and then you want to go to the master page. It defaults to being on the document page, which are the actual pages of your document. The master page, which you get to by double-clicking. You double-click so that the page is highlighted and the name is highlighted. You double-click. Anything that's in the master page will appear on all document pages that it is applied to. So we're just going to do two things in our master page. Excuse me. We're going to set up our page grid, and we're going to set up our footer with automatic page numbering. So make sure you have double-clicked, a master is highlighted, and this page is highlighted. Go to your layout, create guides. We want a grid of 9 rows and 4 columns. You want to turn on preview so that you can see what is going on. And this is very important. You can see right now with the preview on, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 columns, and they're completely ignoring my margins. That's because of this option. You want to fit your guides to the margins. Alright, so that all 4 columns and rows are contained within our margins. Okay, 9 rows, 4 columns, fit guides to margins. Hit OK. Then you'll have a page that looks like this. The next thing you want to do is go to your type tool. You want to pull out a type box that ranges from one margin to the other, and just for ease you can make it but to the bottom margin. A quick keyboard command, if you do Command and colon, that will show and hide all your margins and guides. Sometimes that's very helpful if you just want to see what's going on the page without your grid and guides. So in this type box with the type tool, you want to type your name, tab, which is just the tab key on the keyboard, the project number, tab, and then you want to put in automatic page numbering. So to get automatic page numbering, you go to Type, Insert Special Character, Marker, Current Page Number. All right. It will appear as a capital A because we're on master page A. Do not just type a capital A. That will not work. That will just put a capital A on every page. You need to go through that process of going type, insert special character, markers, current page number. That will give you automatic page number. You want to select this type. It defaults to being Minion Pro 12 on 14. You want to make this Myriad Pro regular. If you don't have Myriad Pro, Myriad is fine. Myriad Pro regular. And what did I say? I said make it 7 points. Make this 7-point type. A good rule of thumb for text type is that your leading should generally be about 20% more than your point size. So, give or take. It's a rule of thumb. It's not an absolute rule. So that's why when I set something to 7-point type, I'll just sort of automatically go and make my leading 9 points. Now we want to adjust our tabs to align these items in the footer to our grid. So we go to Type, Tabs, or also Shift-Command-T to get this tab palette. And you can click up here right above the ruler to get a tab stop. So every place where you had a tab character, whatever follows that tab character will align to the next tab stop. So this first one I made left aligned to this grid line. This next one I'm going to make right aligned to the right margin. Why didn't that work? I'll tell you right now, the tabs palette is finicky. It is very, very finicky. It is problematic. It also does this thing where the palette doesn't stay locked to your text box. So if you do like I just did and zoom in and move the page around, and your tabs palette is over here, with the text or the text box selected, you can just click on the magnet and it will line back up. Now, why did it line up over here? Because I'd accidentally put in another tab stop instead of this one over here. So I can delete this tab stop, and now it is going to this tab stop, which is right aligned to my right margin. Now it's very easy to go past. You just drag it back so it's lined up to the right margin. Okay, and that's our page footer. We also want to make it a 1.5 picas below the bottom edge of the page. You can move this by hand and just kind of move it down. I'm sorry, 1.5 picas below the bottom margin of the page. The margin is within the page. It's not below the edge of the page. That would be off the page. That would be pointless. It wouldn't show up if you print it. Pardon me, I misspoke. So 1.5 picas below the bottom edge. So we can look at this at our Y value, which is the value that this text box has from the top. The measurement from the top edge to here is 59 picas, 6 points. And you can do the math. It's easy enough. Another pica and a half would be 60, then 61 picas. So you can actually, move this down so that it's at 61 picas, or you can enter 61 picas here to move it down. But also, if math is not your strong suit, you can actually let the software do the math for you. So you can go into the y value and do plus 1p6. It will just, and hit return, and it will just add it. It will do the math for you. Aren't computers wonderful? Okay, so that's all we have to do on our master page. Now, if I double click on my document page 1, go to my document page 1, you'll notice my grid is here. My footer is here. And what was an A for my automatic page numbering has turned into a number 1. If I make more pages, we go to page 2, it is automatically numbered for each page, which is wonderful and exactly what we want. So I would save this, and then you're ready to start working on page 1.